Hey guys, welcome back to some more companions. Today's video, we're over on the YouTube account and we are going to be looking at how to get the dimensional heroes over here because it is a little bit different than we see on the classic version. And this is a lot more difficult in my opinion when it comes to really building these out. So I want to break it down. So our dimensional heroes on here, they are giving them to us for free. So you're getting them for free. You're getting copies through what we have going on. Right now, you can buy them if you want to buy them. As you can see, they are pretty well discounted, but logging in every single day is going to give you a copy of these heroes. Now, when you get one copy, there's not really anything you can do with just one copy because very different than the classic version, these heroes have to be built and they have to be built by the dimensional spirits that I'll show you guys in just a minute. So we picked up this very first chest, which was day one. We did get, and we do have a copy of Marcial. On day 7, we're going to get a copy of Leos, and that'll be the 2-dimensional copies that we get. Now you notice there's some diamonds in here in between, because again, these are very, very different in the manner that you build them on the companion server. So looking over here, you can see we have all 3 of our regular dimensional heroes that we had last time, and then we do have the collaboration chest, which is right here. So from the collaboration chest, you're going to go ahead and pick the champion or the hero that you do want in here. There we go. We have her unlocked. Now, again, kind of a basic build on here, not super impressive with how she looks, kind of the design. And I know a lot of players were also talking about this isn't even animated, that they didn't even spend the time to do a crossover animation overall when it comes to these heroes. Now, we have the 1 copy there, which means the second one is going to give us that second copy that we've seen. We do have to wait a couple more days to get that second copy at 7 days. We just unlocked day number 3. Now on day number 7, we're going to get the other dimensional hero that we have in here. And then you build them up through these. Now dimensional spirits, when there is a dimensional hero that is available, you can use your scrolls, which we'll look at in just a minute, to build them up. So you can actually use these Destiny Summon scrolls to build and get those dimensional spirits. The dimensional spirits are going to build up your dimensional heroes. Now, in addition, you can also use your Stargazer scrolls to get dimensional spirits, but again, it's going to be a little bit more costly. Now, looking at the amount of time that we have literally been playing this game, and it's been kind of crazy because looking at getting all the heroes, we're making a lot more progression in here. But when we start breaking down the events with the unlimited card draws, we are 167 days in here. And I want to show you what we're looking at. So with our Celestials, we have 1 and only 1 Celestial that is up right now, right there to Mythic. For our Hypos, all of these, including all of our Celestials, we're just gained by regular summons. It is incredibly difficult, very similar to what we see with AFK Journey, to get your Celestials or your Hypos out of this game at all. Now, building up the Dimensionals, you can see we have Ainz that doesn't have any stars on there. Unfortunately, right now, we don't have the Divine Effect in here because we can't add any stars. Now we have Marcial, now we have Leos, and overall, I'm going to show you in the Noble Tavern how exactly you get these. So when the dimensional crossovers are up, when you have the ability to do the summons, they come out of these Destiny summons. This is the reason why a lot of players do save these scrolls, save their diamonds to go ahead and do the summons in here. Now, one thing to note, this is also where your dimensional gear comes from. So when it comes to getting dimensional gear, this is the place to get it. I don't know any other place as it sits right now that you can get or you can pull dimensional gear. This is the place to get it. Now, one of kind of the catch-22s is when it comes to your diamonds, you need them for chests. You need them for primordial, you need them for amplifying, you need them for red chest. Everything in here is based on diamonds. If you're using your diamonds in the store, you're not going to have diamonds to use elsewhere, which again kind of sucks because if you can't use them elsewhere, or if you're not using them within the Noble Tavern to go ahead and summon up these heroes, you're not going to have the ability to build them. They're literally going to sit at Elite, which we have right now. So let's hop in here, want to do some summons out of here and see what we can do and see if we can pull some of these dimensional spirits. Now, these are all going to be dimensional spirits. We have the ability to build up a hero, and we don't know who is going to be super effective. This also gives us a ton of food. If you look at all of the rare cards, now the only thing that we can get in here is the dimensional spirits. That is the only thing anytime we see an epic, it is going to be a dimensional spirit, which is going to be right there. It takes a lot of dimensional spirits to build these heroes up, which is the reason why when you're using all of these, when you're using all of your diamonds, when you're using your Stargazer scrolls, you're going to really have to pick and choose between getting your dimensional spirits or getting your Celestials or Hypos, and that is going to make a really big game changer. Now, one thing to remember as well we have only seen 2 awakened heroes to companions. We have seen Taylene and we have seen the awakened version of Solus. Unfortunately, we have not seen another awakened hero as of yet. A lot of players saying we're overdue. A lot of players saying they're not bringing any more awakened heroes, which I don't believe. But overall, you can see we do get some free resources out of here. We also do get some free of our dimensional spirits. Now, when we go to the Stargazer, you again have the ability in here to get the dimensional spirits, or you can get the celestials or hypos, depending on exactly what you're building and who you're building. Now, one thing to note is when it comes to Stargazer scrolls, number one, you can't use diamonds in here at all. Very different than what we see on the classic version, but you cannot use diamonds in here. This is Stargazer scrolls and Stargazer scrolls only. Over the past probably month and a half, maybe, we've only gotten 48 Stargazer scrolls. So again, they are very, very rare, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use them in here. This means since we're using them in here, we do not have the ability to build Taylene at all because we're using them for other heroes, essentially, meaning it's going to put us back a little bit for being able to build out Taylene. And we're not even going to see one. In 48 summons, there's another red chest. We're not going to see, hopefully we get one. We got to be pretty close to getting a dimensional spirit in here. There are some boots. Mythic gear in here, another thing that is incredibly difficult to come through on companions. But there we go. So unfortunately, nothing. Now, Noble Tavern, regular summons, we have 209. But I want to show you again, building up these dimensional heroes. So going over here, you can see we have all of our rares that are going into our elites and then our elite plus. We can save those for food. Now, looking at building these out, right here is Marcio. You can see it takes one of these dimensional spirits to build her up a little bit. That will take her from elite to elite plus. Then it's going to take 2 of these. So again, we're burning through these pretty quick. This takes her up to legendary. It is going to be 2 more of these to take her up to legendary plus. Then it takes another 2 to take her up to mythic. And then of course, it takes another 2 to take her up to mythic plus. And then it takes 4, that is right, 4 more to take them up to the ascended level. And then on top of that, it takes 2 for every single star that you want to spend in there. So again, when you think of the feasibility or how incredibly difficult it is to get these heroes. Now, if you have the base copy, you can use your Stargazers, you can go ahead and do this. But unfortunately, when this Destiny summon is gone, you do not have the ability to use any more of these scrolls to go ahead and summon them. You miss out on the entirety. So you really do have to go in here and get these dimensional spirits when you have the ability to, because you do not get enough Stargazer scrolls to go ahead and build this out in really any manner that is effective. You do not get enough and you will not get enough out of there. Now, in addition, when it comes to transcended heroes, over on the companion server, we can actually take heroes much higher. We can take them to a transcended level. To unlock transcended, I still have an incredible amount of time because you have to have 25 5-star heroes to unlock transcended. Again, even over, I mean, we're almost 6 months into this game. We don't even have that many 5-star heroes. Building the heroes on companions is incredibly difficult if you're not putting money into this game. If you're just going through like me, D2, a couple other players, and going through, and there is Athalia, like I said, regular summons. We've gotten some Celestials and your Hypos. But when you're going through here, if you're not spending anything into the game, it does take an incredible amount of time to build up heroes in general, just for the simple fact of getting the multitude of copies. But even when you get the copies, then you're stuck at not having the primordial, the amplifying, or the red chest to actually build them up any further, which again is a little bit more concerning because you can have heroes. I even have a lot of heroes right now that are at 5 stars that do not even have signature items unlocked because I do not have enough resources in there to get it. And there's a copy of Kren, there's a copy of Gwen, 2 of our big damage dealers in there. But going through and burning 200 plus summons in here, very cool to see them. We have our companion points. This is again another point where dimensional spirits are not in any of these modes. You're just going to get the random 4 faction heroes out of here. And of course, like I said, we do not have any of the other awakened heroes on the side. So unfortunately, nothing with the awakened heroes. Let's see if we can get another copy of Kren. Maybe. And it's Titus. We'll take a copy of Titus. You know what? For these, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do Greyborn. Or no, Greyborn. There's a copy of Mira. Let's do Maulers. I want to get a couple copies of Kren. Kren is a really, really big damage dealer. I know the crowd control that he does, the damage amplification. He can do a lot of damage very fast. And I'm hoping that we get a couple more of these 5-star heroes in here. And we're not using any of these for food. Now, also, when it comes to transcended heroes need to have 5 stars. And when we finally get to the point of having those transcended heroes, you also have to have 2 additional Elite Plus copies to be able to transcend the heroes. So it is a lot more expensive than what players were thinking initially. But there we go. We also unlock some of the divine effects. I'm going to have to come back and see what else we can do with all of the food we have in here. But we have Thisu in here. We do have Kren, building out a few more and starting again to get these a lot closer to building up to the 5 stars. And we want to try to get to the point of maxing out those 5 stars. Looks like Damon's going to 5 stars. Also looks like we have Desira. That is going to 5 stars as well, unlocking those divine effects. The divine effects are pretty much the furniture and the engraving that we see on here. Signature items we still do. And then Miro, we do have a couple more copies of. Starting again to get a few more of these 5-star heroes built out, which is pretty cool. So overall, looking at this, again, it's going to be very, very taxing because we have 136. I want to build out Marcio. That's the one that we built over on the classic version. But building her out here, like I said, if you do not have the diamonds, you're not going to be able to build out the signature items at all. Even looking here to pick up a couple more. And then again, we're out of diamonds, so we can't get the red chest. We can't get anything else. Even in here, this is all about red chests when we build this out. Guild store, this is another one. The only thing that we're buying out is our tier stones. Not too worried about the gear. And then in here, we are waiting to build out these elite stones. Most of the elite stones at this point, unfortunately, did not have anything that we were looking for. But looking in there, yeah, we have respite, and then we have a little bit more food. And then, of course, a couple more copies. We can pop open all of these chests. Now, the thing to note here, too, is when it comes to essence, we have a crazy amount of essence. When it comes to experience, we have no experience at all. It is just super, super difficult to get experience. Trying to still push all of these heroes up to level 360, because that's the point where the resonating crystal will actually be unlocked. Starting to, again, save up a lot of these red chests, the emblem chests, and building these out a little bit further. So even thinking of the dimensional heroes, right here we have Sheltier already at a 30, focusing on Ainz, building Ainz up a little bit further. Again, trying to get it built up to a plus 20. And then, of course, going in here with Marcio, building up a few more. We only got one more level in there. So again, this is a point where we can throw on whatever gear we have, but we're not going to have a lot of viability or really utility with the hero because we do not have the ability to build her up anymore. And like I said earlier, 344 right there, 341 across these heroes. So very interesting on how we do the dimensional crossover over here. Even looking at the dungeon flavor, this is one that we've been doing. Bountiful Trials are up. Delicious and Asperia is up as well. So you do have the ability to go in here and really farm out everything. I believe I'm farming these quests already. But going through and doing the dailies is going to yield you this dimensional brush that you want to get, making sure, again, that you're unlocking everything that you can within the game modes. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.